What's up everyone, welcome back to vlog number 10. It's pretty crazy to me that I've already made 10 of these. The support that you guys show me is awesome. I absolutely love making these videos. I love all the feedback, so as always definitely leave all your comments, your likes, and hit the subscribe button. I'm definitely going to keep making content. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers and let's get right into it. Just to quickly mention, I got these hoodies personally made and a bunch of you guys like the design, so there's going to be a link in the description if you guys want to get your own. Thanks for the support. Alright, for the first hand of the night, I look down at Ace Queen of Hearts in the small blind. It folds all the way to the cutoff, who decides to open for $60, which is a pretty big open in this game. Honestly, everyone's been opening to 30, 40, maybe 50, so 60 was pretty big. But I decided to 3-bet it up to $220. You want to go pretty big out of the small blind as you'll be playing out of position. It is a little bit big, but it's okay. As I said, small blind you want to size up a little bit more, and you'll see later in the video I go pretty big with some bigger hands, so you want to do this with some pretty marginally strong hands. So he thinks for a little while as I let this clip run fully and decides to call. Not quite sure what to put him on here. Maybe a small to medium pocket pair, could be ace king, could be ace jack, ace 10, a suited wheel ace, but we'll see. Could also be king queen suited, king jack suited, any of those type hands. So let's navigate a flop. It comes 6, 6, 8 with one heart. Pretty good board for me. Don't really think he'll have any strong hands here. Definitely shouldn't have any 8s. So I decided to c-bet for $220 and it gets the job done. He folds. Nice to pick up the first pot and get some momentum going in the right direction. Alright, we'll follow up last hand with a little bit of a frustrating hand. I like to admit my mistakes. I'll show you guys all the good and the bad plays, so I don't think I played this the best, so I'd like to hear what you guys think about this. I pick up another ace, a suited ace 3 in the big blind. I decide to bump it up to 50. Not to be nitpicky, but I think I should have made it 60. Two players call, the player to my direct left and the button, so we're headed 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace 9 10. It's alright looking, and I decide to c-bet for 110, and you see how fast the player to my left calls. Not sure what to think of that. Could have some kind of draw, queen jack, 7 8, but we're headed to a turn which comes a 5, and here's where I think I make a little bit of a mistake. I think I maybe should be checking here. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I decided to bet 220. I'm not quite sure what I'm targeting. I don't know if I want him to fold, don't know if I want him to call, because I think a bet would fold out any 10 anyways, so he's pretty much only calling with better aces, 2 pairs such as 9 10. Not quite sure. I don't know what you guys think of this, but I bet 220. He calls. We see a blank 4 on the river. I check, he checks back, and we lose to ace queen. So a bit frustrating. Not sure if I played it the right way, but I'd like to showcase it anyways, and we're on to the next. Seems as though we're just playing out of the blinds tonight as I pick up ace 2 of spades in the small blind. Let's get a little bit of redemption. There's a limp, and the hijack opens it up to 50. Next player in the cutoff decides to make the call, and I think this is a perfect hand to decide to 3-bet squeeze. I make it pretty big. I make it $230. Think suited aces are definitely in the range for 3-betting ace 2, 3, 4, 5 suited, because it's going to balance out for when you have ace king suited, ace queen suited, ace jack suited, aces, kings, queens. You can't always raise aces, kings, queens, ace king suited, or else nobody's going to give you action. It's going to be easy to play against you. So you want to add these hands in to make it harder to play against you, and everyone folds and we take it down. So it's a good result. We win about $120 without even seeing any cards. Had to include this hand. Shout out my Twitter username and my angel numbers. We limp 4s, the small blind and big blind check. We're playing short-handed, and we flop a set. Finally, let's make a big hand. Let's get some money. They both check to me. I obviously only bet $20, not trying to overbet or scare anyone off, but they both fold. So this is the frustrating part of poker, when you make big hands and nobody has anything. On to the next. Alright, we are done with the frustration. We pick up aces in the big blind. There's some dream action in front of us. There's an open to 30. The cutoff makes it 100. I actually wasn't even paying attention. I was writing down my notes from a previous hand. The dealer says, it's on you. I look down at my cards and I'm like, oh shit, I have aces. So I'm like, alright, raise to the 100. Alright, so I make it $320. Next player folds. The original raiser makes a fold. So the frustration continues, and we are on to the next. Alright, sticking with the theme of hands that are a bit frustrating here, I pick up queens. You see the under the gun +2, raise it up to 40. I'm in the cutoff and I 3-bet it to 160. As I said earlier, you want to go up when you're out of position, and when you're in position you can size a bit down, especially with a hand such as good as queens. I don't really want to get him off the hook with, anything that he's opening, 9-10 suited, king jack suited, ace 10 suited, anything like that. So I make it 160 and he decides to make the call. As it always seems to be when we have queens and kings, there is an ace in the window. Disgusting. He checks it to me and I cannot just check this one back. Need to put my foot on the gas. As you see, I bet with ace queen on a 6-8-8 board, so I definitely need to be betting with queens on an ace high board. Just a spot where you need to bet, and it seems to be the wrong play as he raises it up. Not sure if he was sensing weakness, because I did down bet a little bit. I didn't really bet the full size of the pot, but I would be choosing that sizing if I had ace king, ace queen, and I smashed the ace. Occasionally I'll check back, but a lot of the times I'll down bet to that sizing, so it's not necessarily indicative of a weak hand. I think it's actually the opposite, that a down bet would be indicative of a good hand, but he nonetheless raises it up. Looks like he might have had ace jack himself, ace king, I don't know. Probably not ace king. He would probably decide to re-raise that pre-flop, but he might even have a weak ace like ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, and just seeing where he's at. But you never know, and although I did kind of want to call because I did feel like he might be on a spade flush draw, I'm just not at the right stack size to decide to call, because if I call and the turn's not a specific queen, then he'll be able to barrel even if he's got such a hand like king jack of spades, king 9 of spades, anything like that. He can just bet pretty big on the turn and I'll just have to fold. So this is an unfortunate spot, and I just decide that there's better spots for me. I don't have to call here and call down, but I decide to fold and we're on to the next. Alright, since I'm not getting that many interesting hands, I want to put up a super crazy and interesting hand that happened at my table. I was pretty much in awe watching it, and I just want to show you guys and see what you guys think. So the +2 player opens to $60. The player directly to his left calls 60. Now the player on the button raises to 175. Gets back to the original raiser who made it 60. He decides to raise it up to 450. Now the next player who just cold called the 60 now decides to cold call the 450, and it's back to the player who decided to 3-bet to 175, and he calls the 450. So now they go 3 ways to a flop where they all just put in $450, and I put up a picture here. The flop comes 9-5-4 with 2 spades. The person who made it 450 decides to bet out an amount, I think that was like $500 or $600, and the next 2 players just fold. I have no idea what they possibly could have had. It's pretty clear that the person who made it 450 seems to have had kings, aces, queens, and got a super good board. I'm not really sure what to put the person who called 60 then calls 450 on, because if it was pretty much any pocket pair, he would have to call on this flop because it's a great flop for any pocket pair. And then the player who made it 175, I'm assuming he had some type of jack 10 suited, king queen suited, king jack suited. That obviously was not spades. So just a super weird hand where maybe both players that flatted the 450 had some type of king queen suited, jack 10 suited, and just completely missed as they didn't have spades. But just a pretty crazy pot, as you don't really see that often. And I thought it especially weird, the player across the table from me in the brownish jacket that flatted 60 and then flatted 450. Just a super weird spot considering he had the player who bet 175 after him to still act, as he could go all in or something and he would just be torching his $450. But just a super crazy hand, and I'm curious to think what you guys think that they had, because I was just in awe and I have no idea. Alright, I gotta catch you up on the action here as I started recording a little bit late, and you'll understand why in a minute. I'm in the big blind with ace 3 offsuit. Obviously I check, not gonna raise this one up. The flop comes 3-7-8 rainbow, and I decide to check. The next player bets $20 and I decide to just float here. And when the turn comes, a nice ace, this is precisely why I floated. I check and he now bets 110. I debate if I should raise here, but don't want to blow him off anything, so I decide to just call. The river is a brick, and I don't really want him to check back, as I feel like he definitely would. Not a lot of people decide to triple barrel bluff, but I'm hoping that I can cooler a lesser 2 pair. Who knows, maybe he's got an ace himself, so I decided to lead out big, $320. It should look super strange this sizing, and that's exactly what I wanted it to look like. Didn't want to bet small, I wanted to bet big because I wanted to make it look like I missed something or I'm just trying to bluff him off the hand. So I bet big, but he decides to fold, so a little bit unfortunate, but we win about $200 in this. For the last hand of the night, we play a pretty interesting one. I have Jack 8 of spades and under the gun +2. I limped, the player to my left makes it 30. There's one caller, it's back to me, and I complete. We see a board of 2-3-3 with 1 spade. I check, the initial raiser bets 60, the next player folds, and I think that this is a pretty good board to just float on if I can connect with a jack, an 8, a spade. Maybe we can get some money in. So I call, and we see just that in the 6 of spades. A debate leading out, but I check, and he snap checks back, so it looks like my float is live with even a jack or an 8. Doesn't look like he's got much, but we get there anyway with the 7 of spades on the river. And just like last hand, when I had a big hand, I decided to bet big. This hand, I do actually have another good hand, and I bet big. I bet $210, and he snap calls me, so I'm not sure what he has, but I say I have a flush, and he says you're good and mucks his hand. So sometimes these overbets do get paid off, and that's what makes them very, very valuable. It balances out for when I need to bluff and I miss my hands and I bet big. Opponents really won't know what I've got, and it'll be hard to play against me. So I like doing them. I wonder what you guys think. Do you guys like to bet big on the river, value bet? I always like going big, it's just my thing, so I'm happy it works out this time, and stay tuned for the session results. We got in the game for 1200 and out for 1775, so that's plus 575 in about 4 hours today, so not the longest session, not too many crazy interesting hands, but a straight up session is always not bad and better than a losing one. So thanks for watching. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for all the love. I appreciate it. Have a great day.